What is this view? What's going on? Who's running this thing? Something switched, and it's causing this weird. What if I do that? All right, welcome back to this session of Product Like It's Friday, even though it's Tuesday. I think I'm getting the days correct. Yesterday, I don't remember how we started, but I remember that we left off with doing a bunch of research on latex-based libraries in JavaScript. We looked at latex.js, Mathjax, and then Katex, which is made by the Khan Academy. And we ended up using the Katex, and that's what I integrated. And today I want to keep going. I want to keep going in terms of building out different types of questions. So I'll share my screen, and we'll get into it. So yeah, I don't know what happened to the setup. This should be a little bit auto magical, but here we go. Right, so we had set up Katex to define the questions, and then I'd created a questions module where we're now, as much as we can, trying to use data to define variables to define the question. So this is the question template taken over by Katex, and this gets sent to the front end and rendered. We still have some code in order to have an answer function, and I'm not entirely sure how to deal with this just yet, especially given the variations of types of answers we may have. And then, just throw in some different types of questions using bits of Katex or latex here and there. And there, that div, for example, will have like a proper div sign, divide sign. And then thinking about this a little bit broadly, one thought that came to mind was we probably need to have a template for the answer as well. What if the answer needs to be displayed as a fraction? And how do we handle that? And so we'll get to it bit by bit. But right away, actually, the next type of question that I want to dig into is this, which creates a whole series of questions that I need to answer. How do I accommodate fractions in the question? We've dealt with that. How do we accommodate fractions in the answer? Because the answer needs to be desorted. Do we have template on a per variable basis now? All that stuff becomes irrelevant. So let me just quickly take a look at my messages. Yeah, everything is fine. I'm not that important. And then, yeah, we'll take it from there. I click out here and it goes right to the bottom. It's very frustrating. So let's scroll to here. Is there like a lock button? What if I click here? Safe. What if I click here? Not safe. Okay, well, this is my clicking spot, I guess. Maybe I just shouldn't click. There we go. Okay, so here is the type of question now that I want to template, which means that I have to get on the new line here. Order numbers, let's call it order numbers, and let's get going. I'll do something similar to what I did the last time, is maybe just even comment out everything, and then just have one type of question, and here I'll call this order numbers, and we want 4 numbers, 2 of them fractions, and 2 of them decimals. So already we're getting into this idea of how we represent these numbers. And yeah, because I can't, for example, this is 3 over 4. So if I do this, I still need to indicate somewhere how this will be displayed when it's replaced in the template here. So why don't I do first a very simplified version of this? So I will get the intent going first and then worry about fractions later. So the type of question is, I'm going to show you a bunch of numbers and I want you, the answer should be those numbers sorted from smallest to largest. So let's get that functional. And then we can worry about the fraction business. Okay. Other thoughts that are just quickly coming to mind is, for example, this fraction here, 0.75, can be displayed as 6 over 8 as well, or 75 over 100, for example. Will we ever need to do that? Just a thought that crossed my mind. But for now, let's just focus strictly on this. So order these numbers from smallest to largest. So let me get that. Order. Yeah, why not? Let's try. Okay, that's interesting because I just spoke those words, and AI is suggesting that, and it's probably getting that from the order numbers thing I have here. So it's not, like a lot of these things are fairly common, which is pretty cool. So let's see what it does for the answer function here. And this is the first time in this process, instead of having a single value in the answer, I'm returning an array. And here, or number array, there might be other types of answers, like a string, what have you, and none of that has been really considered just yet. But let's play around with this. So this code should still get the question template and replace the values. The answer function will just be an array and be turned into a string. So I'm happy to see what this results in. And then work from there. Let's load up a new game. Well, that's not going to work. So let's see. Because the size of this is pretty big. It's like 8.75 by default. And we don't want that. What happens if I just don't even have a style there? It comes out in the smallest format. So I will have to look up at some point how we can use the space and make the font size based on how much space we have, or shrink the font size based on how much space we have. CSS font size based on container, let's say height. Font scaling. Fitting text to a container. Will this be, can CSS do this? Font size, I thought this was viewport. Based on the viewport's width, I don't want that. I want based on the div. So there's some JavaScript solutions. Magic number, so viewport based, which we've seen already. jQuery based, which we have not seen in a whole while. Text fit. So let's see, view font scaling. Scaling text to fit a container in view. Yeah, this is exactly what I want. Value element, value style. Okay, I mean, something to look into. I'm not going to get too deep into it, but at least it's available. I did want to quickly take a look. But let me use something moderately sensible here. The other thing I want to do is Katex new line. This is probably just latex new line, but just so I know, use 3 backslashes instead of 2. I'm using Markdown. Works for me. So I can probably just do that here. Can I also just do this? Would that work? I don't know. Not going to risk it. And so let's give this a shot. Doesn't work. What if we asked this friend? I do actually like this kind of a usage for AI, and even ongoing. Let's say if we had a question generator and you wanted to convert this, instead of trying to learn latex in detail, you could simply pass it through AI, and that would be totally fine. Like our app would use the AI API to do it. So let's say I say this. In Katex, I want a line break after largest. / new line. Wow. Is it that easy? I will need to line pick that. Let's give it a go. Okay, cool. And let's save this, and I want to center the numbers. So there's 2 slashes here, a display style thing happening here. I want to just copy this whole thing to see. And then we'll just replace the values here. Whoops. C and then D. And let's see if that is any more functional. No, didn't care. That's fine for now. I'll figure out how to center this later. What I will do is jump into the answer. That's interesting that there's repeated numbers here. Not a big deal. Reveal answer. So an array shows up just fine. But like, I wonder whether there should be something like an answer template. Not necessarily answer. I mean, probably none of this. but maybe something like this. Because we won't always want to display this, and then at times we will want fractions being displayed. So I'm still not sure how to handle that. That's not a straightforward thing. And these, now here's another thing is, these are randomly generated, but they just happen to be sorted. So in a question like this, we almost have to make sure that they're not sorted to begin, so that that sorting can have some value. Like the answer needs to be not sorted. And how do we represent that here? Should we even bother representing that here? And I like how something that seems fairly simple to start, it's like, oh, we'll just randomize values and we'll make it work. There are so many varying complexities here. And again, when you're doing this on paper, it's just so easy to make sure when you have like 1 or 2 questions, no big deal. But the moment you want to automate it, it becomes complicated. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I might at some point eat this pure protein lemon cake bar. These are nice. I mean, they're not the best. Are they the best? No, they're not the best. But they're also not the worst. And definitely they do have a lemon kick, which I don't mind. Okay. So a bunch of questions are coming up. How do I display fractions? How do I ensure that these numbers are not sorted? And there are a number of bad ideas that are emerging in my mind right now. It's like, what if, also I don't want repeat numbers either, right? So should that all be defined here? Should I say like, excluding something like the value of A shouldn't be here. It seems very forced, unnatural. But I don't have a solution for that quite yet. So I'll just let that sit in my mind for a bit. What else do I care about here? I can quickly take a look at why it's not centered and whether that's a facility that Katex provides at all. Come on. No, you don't want to give me a, it doesn't want to. Okay, maybe I can inspect. No, you don't want to give me a thing on strike. What's going on? Okay, well, give me a second, folks. I might have to just unshare my screen for a bit and probably just restart my browser just in case that's the issue. I don't want, maybe I'll also restart the server here. Probably, oh, restarting server seems to have done it. This is live television, so give me a sec. Okay. I think we're back. I had to restart the backend, the next server. So let's see what's happening here and whether there needs to be, so that's the base, it says. And this is also a base M space new line, which is giving us that new line business. Let's get rid of that. And all that new line is a display block. Let's see if this helps, which is saying and we'll see if I'm absolutely right. Well, why weren't you right? Why do I like the whole point of using you is so that you're right? Um, okay. I'm not going to render twice. You must split it into two calls? That's ridiculous. That's upsetting. I, I, I know I'm giggling, but I'm upset. Okay, that's fine. Let's just see if there's any centering facility. None of that looks like center. But maybe it is, and I just don't know. Font. So Mary was talking about how the font we have is not fun. And it seems like we can override certain aspects of .ktex. And there is a Katex specific font. And maybe we can't adjust it from time to time. Common issues. Yeah, I would have, okay, aligned? Is that what? Well, alignment is not necessarily centering. So let's just quickly scroll through here to see if something emerges. I'm not seeing anything in particular yet. We could, of course, center everything, which I kind of don't want to do either, because I think we discussed how if you're reading this in a test, if it's a larger word problem, you actually don't want to center it. It really appears weird to the eyes. So just continuing to scan this. And again, I might have missed it, right? I'm no latex expert. F box, color box. I'm learning things. Footnote size. If this is just going by letters, okay. Sorry, this will be just ridiculously absurd. Just me scrolling. I already searched for center. Should I have searched for the Canadian spelling of center? I'm not seeing any. Nope. It seems to support a lot of things here. And our friend AI suggested like splitting the lines, which is absolutely ridiculous. Unacceptable. And I'm surprised that Katex, let's see what latex had. Because they had a little playground area, which if I scroll through, like, okay, so these are centered. How did they know? Welcome back, Hinoji. You've shared something here. I'm trying to read the comment. Are you getting that from Katex or like a general? Is that just default latex? I see. Begin and align is also a thing, but when I was reading through it here, where did it go? It didn't seem to me like it seemed to me like it was aligning around the equal signs, but there wasn't a clear indication that. Yeah, I think I will try a general latex thing. Begin center, look at that. Begin center seems like a sensible thing to try. And it's spelt in the American format, and Katex has center dot vcenter, which does not look like what I want. And I'm in the support table. What about supported functions? I searched it here as well and did not see it. Common issues, align environment doesn't. Katex does not support the align environment because latex doesn't support align in math mode. The align environment offers the same functionality, but in math mode. So use that instead. I mean, okay, you know what? We could read all day. So let me just, well, begin center is different. So there's align, there's begin center. Let's see. Maybe we will learn something. And maybe we will be sad. Maybe. So I know I want a new line. And here I want begin center. Whoops. Begin center. Yep. End center. Right? Looks fine. Assalamu alaikum. Idlis Muhammad. Welcome to the stream. Let's see. Nothing. Just sadness. Just sadness. There were some parsing issues here, so let's take a look. No such environment. Center at position 67. Doesn't like it. So no center. So we can't just plop general latex in here. So I'll have to take a look at, again, like I feel like it is worth centering. So we can't do this. Aligned. So yeah, we can search here. Align. I'm looking for any highlight of align here. I'm not seeing anything. So there's no align here. I'm not seeing anything here. So let's just make sure. Yeah, no, if searching works. I was like, maybe what if the search wasn't searching this text here? It is. So that's fine. Let's go to here and let's look at aligned. And this is just what we have here. I don't believe it. I don't think it will do anything. But let's for align to what? You know, you just have one thing and it's just a list of numbers. So why would it align anything? But let's do it anyway. Let's see. Okay, so it wants me to have stars. And so I'll try the stars version first, and if not, we'll come back. 500, rude. Okay, yeah, because it's coming from the. Oops. Yeah, it seems like there's no layout stuff. Doesn't like it either. Can only be used in display mode. What's display? Oh, I closed our friend. What's display mode? Can only be used in display mode? I saw display mode somewhere. They're display mode only. The auto render extension will render the following environments even if they're not inside math delimiters. I feel like in order to get good at this, I might have to become an expert at latex. Like I have to take a latex course, and then I have to take a Katex course, so I know what not to do in Katex that I can do in latex, and vice versa. I am still upset. I don't think I'm expressing my upsetness just enough. But in my heart, there is deep sadness at the moment. Int versus bar. I'm not sure what that means. At least. Hinoji, the parse error here, if I can maybe make it larger, the parse error here says, Katex parse error, align star. Oh, because it aligned, not aligned. Sorry, my bad. My bad. That's a reading comprehension issue on my part. So now I'm still upset, but just at myself. No, okay, align here. Okay, let's try aligned. Why not? Let's throw the kitchen sink at it. Generate, submit, create. Let's go. And so now, yeah, I mean, align's great. It just has nothing to align to. Like, what's it gonna align to? What is it like? So maybe that's it. Maybe that's her life. We can't center things. I don't like it. Do they not, over at Khan Academy, do they center stuff? What are they anti-centering? Okay, forget it. Let's not, we're just gonna live without the center for now. And maybe I'll look at it later. Okay, so let me just think about some of these other concerns. Maybe we can start with the fraction concern. Is I want to display I want to generate and display fractions. And so I did this display type business, but we're not using it anywhere. I did type number. I don't think we're using type anywhere either. That's kind of relevant. It's just there. It doesn't mean anything yet. And it's assumed that we'll have, don't give Trump ideas. What ideas? I missed it. I don't know what idea I had delivered, but let me know. Okay. So is there a type fraction that can be available? Maybe that has different values here. Like if it's type fraction, I'm just thinking out loud here. So there's no, like, there's nothing concrete. I might accomplish very little in this session, to be honest. And it might be purely kind of discovery on what data formats I can work with here. And maybe out of all of this, maybe a third thing may emerge. At least I think you got the wrong channel. This is not a religious exposition channel, so I'm not sure why that's relevant. I'm not sure if being Muslim or Christian would make me solve this problem any sooner or slower, as a matter of fact. So, but maybe you can let me know why that's so important to you. Okay. So a fraction has like a numerator. So does a numerator need this kind of a thing? Okay. Talk about CSS. Yes. And then would I define a denominator with this kind of a thing? I don't like this here anymore. The error is going to keep bugging us from TypeScript as we're discovering. I don't entirely hate this. Why is that an important extern question? Important to whom? Okay. Let's see. So we could deal with this, like the random variable generator can know this type of a business. And then you've shared some Katex/latex code here, Hinoji, but I'm not sure what it's implying or signifying. If you can help me out and let me know. Okay. Yeah, at least, but we're here to talk about CSS and JavaScript and bees and honey. So I'm not sure. Maybe you're on the wrong channel. Maybe you're on the wrong stream. Display mode true, you say? Okay, yeah, that might be helpful. Thank you. So by default it's false. If true, math will be rendered in display mode. If false, math will be rendered in inline mode. I see. Differences between the two modes include starts in display size. So int and sum are large, for example, while inline mode starts at textile, where subscripts and superscripts usually don't stack on top of the operator. I don't know what that means, but okay. And display mode centers math on its own line and disables automatic line breaking, though you can customize this. So, I mean, I guess on my part, okay, thank you, Hinoji. Let's try this out. I am willing to maybe just undo some of this so that we get back to a state where I can play around here. And then we'll go to the front end. All right, cool. Yeah, at least thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. I'm hoping to do more course-like things in the future, where but for now, me and a friend of mine, Mary, we are building an app together, designing from scratch and building an app together. And you can find our progress if you look at the live streams in the Random Acts of Coding channel. So let me just take a look at some of these options we can pass in here. Display mode. What else? Output. So we could choose what kind of output comes out here. And this is just for me to keep things in mind because I wasn't aware, we didn't take a deep look into the options that we can pass in here. So I will forget all of this, but I guess now I have an idea. Display mode is true. And centers math on its own line, which will be kind of the default, which I think is nice, which I want to see if I have more renders. Yep, I do. And so we'll say, and because this is, I don't have to change anything. And so we could kind of just go back here and see. It is centered. Thank you, Inoji. That's super helpful. Amazing. I would have taken much longer to get there on my own. All right, so we have this, and now I could go back to dealing with fractions. Let's do fractions. And turns out, because this was purely, I didn't have to change anything here. My assumption, I wonder whether this, actually I do want to learn this bit, is to see whether this made any bit of a difference or it was just like incidental. At least I'm not sure what you're asking at this point with all those questions. Are you still, I'm not going to answer the religious question, to be honest. But if it's that important to you, then I guess it's important to you, and you'll never know. Okay. Order the numbers from smallest to largest. I want to see whether it still works. It's still centered, and we didn't need to necessarily have that begin business there. So I'm glad we did that. And I'm glad that it's centering. For now, we'll see. You're saying I should try this equation to get all the things in the display. Oh, I see what you mean. You're like, hey, try something that plugs everything into the display. Just so in one shot I guess I can see what's going on. Jake, welcome to the stream. I'm just trying to figure out Katex and latex and all of that. Okay, unfortunately, this interface, I'm using Restream, does not allow me to copy the comment outright. It doesn't allow me to copy outright. let's see. I might come back to that in a bit. Infinity hat. I'm trying to see if there's maybe something in the Katex docs. That has an example that you have here. No, does not seem like it. So I don't have a easy way to copy paste this, unless, hold on, maybe. Maybe I can actually just visit the YouTube stream for the first time. Not for the first time, I've been there before. And actually go into this live session and maybe copy it straight up. I can hear myself now. Ugh. Oh, that's even more interesting. YouTube doesn't even show your comment. Like yeah, your string.raw does just actually not even show as a comment on YouTube. But on the plus side, I can copy paste comments from this YouTube interface. All right. Okay, so let me see if I can come back to that at some point. But for now, I'm going to continue with trying to get a fraction in here. And so just playing around with some thoughts here, see if just if something emerges. Nothing concrete just yet. Okay, so what if type was fraction, and then the code below would know how to handle fractions separately. And then I don't think I need to do anything with display type. It's not even come up yet. So I'm actually happy to just go ahead and remove instances of display type. And I know I can do Vim shortcuts to do this. It's not that many. So display type is gone. And then for fraction, I can define numerator, not numberator, numerator, and that will take on sort of this format. I'm not sure if the type here is relevant, because I'm going to have to kind of maybe have a recursive function or summat. And then min-max goes away, and value maybe just remains there for a second, and we'll see. I'm not sure how to handle this just yet, but we'll see. Let me go back up the top and say variable is type string. We've done min-max thus far, but I suppose based on the type. So can I say something like this? Type fraction, yeah. That numerator is a variable, denominator is a variable, and this value. And then will that appease TypeScript? It does. Okay, cool. And then in my code, I can handle numbers in a specific way, and I can handle fraction in a specific way, and I can get a numerator and denominator to generate. I'm just trying to think where else this would, going down the line, down the path, how I will need to use this, because okay, let's find out. Let's not think. No thinking. Thinking is for losers. Okay, so these are variables. I'm looping through my variables here, and here I can do something like if. Okay, I'm just going to accept this bit of code, and then we'll do an else if variables key type equals number, do this stuff. And let's see. Oops. This thing is not going to, TypeScript's not going to be happy here because this if is not, it should be, but I guess it's not good enough to know that it's what the type is. So can I say and numerator in? That's, I mean, this is maybe too much, but let's start with this and let's see if this is enough for it to know the type. Seems like it is. And so this is now properly typed. And this isn't. Numerator. And numerator should have a max and a min. No. Numerator is variable, but maybe that's not as helpful because okay. I would have thought, oh, because it doesn't know what kind of numerator it is. That's unfortunate. So maybe I can actually do this separately. Type variable number, because I want to simplify some of these things. So I don't need type here because like variable number is a type on its own. And it'll have a min number and a max number and a value, just that. And we know that here, this is not just another variable, it's a variable number. And then this here, actually, maybe I can say type number here. And then I can delete this and say variable number. So now there's not this kind of looped business happening with, or recursive business happening with the typing, and it should be fairly clear here that this is a number. Okay. I just accepted what the AI suggested for this bit of code, but there's obviously, I mean, some level of repetition here. I'm not going to worry about that for now, but we can take a look later on how to like maybe, you know, consolidate some of these things. Maybe then also variable fraction. Yes, you are correct. Yeah, this is the natural progression. Thank you. Let's see if it knows. No, it doesn't know. Let's see if it knows now. Yes, it does. And does it know the rest? Yes, it does. That's a great suggestion. You're full of great suggestions today, Hinoji. You know, other days, it's a toss-up, but today you're on fire. You're on fire. I hope you know that I'm just kidding. I mean, I'm not kidding about you being on fire today. I'm just kidding about the other days. Okay. So I'm just reviewing the code here. And so I should end up with the final value which is a decimal. And then I still need a way to represent this. But let's actually, I mean, we're here. We have one fraction. It has a numerator and a denominator. And for my purposes here, I'm going to say numerator is 1 to 5, and denominator is like 1 to 15. For, you know, just for testing purposes. We'll come back here and click through. And okay, so now I'm getting a decimal value. Like it's effectively a fraction. The part that's missing here is, hey, how do we display a fraction? Because a fraction needs to be displayed as its numerator and denominator, not just as this. I feel like we're getting closer, right? Okay. So should there be, so now in the replacement, let's just say, because here we're replacing the value, where it says A, so this is the, you know, where it says A, this should actually be replaced by the fraction latex, which then gets by the numerator and denominator. Right? So here, I need to do an if, because not all values need to be replaced in the same way. Okay, so this is somewhat shaping up. And because I've done fraction here, because I've defined fraction here, I don't necessarily need to define the latex for fraction here. The code should take care of that. Okay. See, if I did the thinking, like I probably would have thought about this before. And here, like there's already our friend AI suggesting things to us. I want to do else if, because I want to be surprised in the cases where like I add new things and they don't work at all. So yes, I want something like this. That gets replaced. And then my front end should display the fraction. Okay, let's go. First try. I also like that we have the case where this is not, I mean, this value is just 2, but I like that it's not reduced to its lowest kind of factor here, like 2 over 1. We're specifically always displaying numerator and denominator, whatever got generated. Great. So let me now take this and replace that with C as well. And so now A and C in this enterprise should give me fractions. And again, there's all this detailing that I do need to look at later, but like, okay, these should not be sorted. Like the right answer probably shouldn't be present in the question. Or maybe it is, and it's a trick question. This is beautiful. This is wonderful. Would love a bit of spacing from here to here, but not right now. Okay, so now how do I get this to appear in the answer, which is here? This won't do. So now the answer also needs a kind of template. And let me think about that here. So we've said the answer function can return numbers so far, and we've said that it can return arrays. But should it always just return a string? And that string can be Katex as well. So the answer then takes over that format. And then you could just write whatever code here that needs to accommodate. So what if we said answer function is string always? Hinoji, you say frac should make it more condensed. That's what I have here, frac. It's in text mode, frac. I'm not 100% sure what that means right off the bat, but this is using frac here, and it should be more like the visualization of this would be more condensed. I can probably follow that rabbit hole in a bit, but for now, I'll just focus on displaying this as a template. So let's see what breaks in the code. That breaks, good. I should have other answer functions, no? Is that the only? Oh, I do have other answer functions. They're just commented out. So slash. Oh, I did not see the tfrac. Thank you. It's just in this interface and the size I have, it is really hard to read. I am down to try tfrac in the next iteration, but I have broken code here that I want to fix. So it's in place, and then hopefully it surprises us. What about having classes for the variables? And the class would then take care of kind of how to, I guess it's more organized code. It takes care of kind of producing and doing all that. Yeah, that's definitely something we can consider. I do want to first get like some of this procedural level code working, and then later on, whether they become their own modules or functions or classes, all that is will follow in a refactoring phase. So here I'll just kind of make it simpler for myself, and then we'll always return string. Yep. And then here, yep, const. And when I'm saying yep, I'm just looking at these operators on each one to just see that they match. So here, const answer. I'm just doing this. I could just wrap this in whatever and just say toString. I just want to make it slightly more legible for when I have to look at that later. And so now these are pure numbers. Answers as numbers, or strings, sorry, pure strings. But so far, the strings just have bin numbers. And here, I have an array, and I want to represent, and maybe here you're saying, hey, if there were classes, they could just handle themselves, because A is a variable and its type needs to be represented and how it's represented. Oy. Okay. Let me do it just, with maybe not so great code up front, and then see what emerges, and it'll probably give me a better idea of how I can extract it. So first we sort. Yes. And then secondly, we have to display. So AI is trying to do this. So what if I give it some hints? Display as a Katex string with fractions. Will it know? Yeah, okay. And again, now we're doing some repetition, and that's fine. Like we have this stuff down there. It also picked up the tfrac, by the way. But I'm happy to have duplication for now. And if we kind of make this into a function that kind of just returns its of variables latex representation, or if it's a class, all of that can then be refactored into that. But for now, I'm just, super driven to just make it work. TypeScript is not happy, but that's fine. And again, these kind of TypeScript issues also will go away. For example, if we just use classes that represent, that return values, or functions even. But for now, let's switch these and just do what we did below, which is just give some hints. Seems like it doesn't like the hints. Seems like it's upset. What's going on? Let's fix this one by one. So let's do return answer so that doesn't flare up. Type of value is not. This is just, you can't trust. Okay. And then, no, what's value again? Oh, value is a straight up number. Because we're doing values, I can't do that. So I want to sort the variables by their values here. Okay, no problem. So let's sort the vars by their value. Rude. What is this? This is a bit of a hack, but it works. Just give me the code, bro. Don't judge me. I'll just trust this for now. And we'll see later. So I have my sorted vars, and I would want to go through my sorted vars here. So let me just get that out, comment it just for now. Values, it goes away because all of that is sorted. And here, I'm going to use my sorted vars. And hopefully AI picks up the right thing. And that's why I commented this out, hoping that it would kind of just pick it up and apply it here. And now I'm getting my typed stuff working. And here the answer is returning the eventual value. And I can just get rid of that. And here the answer is represented as a Katex/latex string. Hoo-wee. All right, let's go for a spin. Okay, that's fine. I'll just have to select, because I uncommented all the other types of questions. So now I'm just at the mercy of the randomizer to see if I happen to get like our complex fraction question. And if I don't get any in like the next, so this I would want to fix as well. So that was nice to kind of come through. I didn't get any. I'm still not getting any. Oh, got it. And we're generating a string. This is fantastic. So now the answer area needs to be rendered as Katex. Let's do that. So I have Katex ref, I have Katex answer ref, which doesn't make sense anymore because I used Katex answer ref earlier because I thought, hey, it's still the question in answer. So in the answer section, it's the question in the answer section. So and I don't want to get too clever here and run into issues. So I'm just going to copy paste and later on worry about any refactoring that emerges. So Katex, this is not an answer ref. This is a question ref. Question ref. Katex question ref, and that's that. And then this here can become our Katex answer ref. Right, and now we'll need to display that. I can turn out answer, I can get rid of that. And then will it know? Yep. And let's go to this part, and I'll have another watch effect just for, it should pick it up. And value.answer picks that up as well. Overline for repeating decimal, that's helpful as well. Okay, so now I think I can just go, I don't have to, oh, this is so cool. This is so cool. I think we're at a commit point for sure. Okay, so let's take a look at what we have. Just 2 files have changed. A lot of stuff changing on the question side. We have now extracted that variable type into different variable types, and we're using that to generate fractions in our definitions. I've gotten rid of that display type stuff that I never end up using. But the thought was correct because, but now it's kind of built in. So the code knows based on the type how you want it to be displayed. But I think my heart was in the right place. Now the answer function returns a string, which it will be interpreted as Katex by default. Yeah, and the rest of it is kind of defining, and then you know, some more, like a lot more complexity. I don't like this because if like, you know, I'm trying to make most of this as data based as possible, pun intended. And this is code. This is like, I wish I had a better way off the top of my head to represent answer as data. But then it just means I have to abstract a lot of this stuff. So I don't want to focus on that now, but eventually maybe. But also maybe never. Fraction numerator. So this is the variables that are being generated. And so based on the type of variable, I know how to generate a random value for it. And this could be a recursive function, right? Because some of these need more generation and so on. But all that for later. And then now I have a way of displaying a variable type. So the right stuff here gets addressed. Amazing. Sweet. I'm thrilled about this progress, given how upset I was just at the start of this stream. And here I've reduced the size of the question. We'll figure out how to text to fit business in a bit. And then KTAB answer is Katex as well. Adding ability to handle fractions. Cool. Super thrilled. Couldn't be more thrilled. I could be more thrilled, but still very thrilled. Okay. Oh, I saw. I'm just reading your comment here, Hinoji. You say, my guess is sort does not care about the magnitude of the number. So 1 equals 2 equals 3 equals n for positive outcome, same for negative. So maybe just return something like b minus a. Let me take a look here. Is that in this code here? You mean, oh, you mean like this is super complex for, could be just simpler. Yeah, I don't know why our friend AI decided to do it this way. But I'm actually not going to change it right now because I risk breaking something, and I'm content with, a functioning bit of code. But noted, like I will absolutely get to that in a refactoring phase, where it's like, yeah, it absolutely doesn't have to be this complex, but also it's working, so I don't want to touch it and then go down a potential rabbit hole. This looks very nice. This has gotten pushed down right now, but I also don't want to focus on that either, because there might be a whole bunch of fit to text font sizing that happens here and here, and then that should take care of this. We'll just fix this height, maybe. So I want to see whether there's any other functional bits that I want to handle right now, which probably means I should take a look here. I did speak of things like, hey, let's make sure that numbers don't repeat. But I think I want to handle that later, because that'll be a more broader generic thing. I think I'm actually happy. Oh, I just left this comment dangling. How do I, okay, there we go. The minus symbol is huge. I noticed, and I don't know if you noticed, I was like highlighted it for like an extra second. I was like just highlighting this over and over. But I was like, don't get into it. Don't. I'm not going to get into it. Like, all those things will come. There will be a time. For now, I want to create a few other types of questions. So I feel better about the direction we're going in. That's my goal, just to feel better. And the more types of questions I can address, the better I will feel. It's a direct correlation. There's a formula, I'm sure. Y equals mx plus b, about how I feel better. What is the unit price if 3 pencils cost blah? I like this. And then maybe we can deal with some of that overline thing when we generate something like this, or I don't have types for questions, but I'm naming them, I guess. And the rest of it is just data. So I'll call this question, and I'll just do what I was doing before, which is comment everything out. I'll end up copying one of these questions. Maybe I'll just make it the first question so it's visible, and then we'll call this unit price. And all of this might change later, so it's not, I'm not tied to it. I am noticing something here, which is, so far, when I have been generating numbers, they have been integers. So the question is, should this actually be variable integer? I think so. I think so. And type should also be integer. Oops. Let's do that. And let's get all those instances replaced. And now the code is happy. I'm also actually going to make this part of the code happy as well. All right, so now I have a variable integer, which is more along the lines of what's happening. Because if I want to generate this, I need to create a type for variable decimal. And let's see So I have a min-max value, but I might need other data points here. Yeah, I know, like the JavaScript or TypeScript has number, but my generator needs to know how to generate different types of these things and then how to display them and all of that. So I can probably go ahead and do that. That is currency, but I feel like it happens to be currency. And my decimal definition can probably accommodate that. And so I believe in a database, like in Postgres, define decimal type, you can tell it what the precision is. And I'm wondering whether I want to do something like that or not. But maybe I just want like this bit, like how many decimal points I want my number to have. So I like that, decimal places. I was going to type in decimals, but decimal places is a bit more descriptive. Fantastic. So here I want to generate two numbers for this question. One of them is the number of pencils, and we'll keep it fairly simple. More than one, so we'll do 3 to 5. So X is number of pencils. And then Y will be a decimal, and decimal places will be 2. And the number will be, let's say, between, I want to say 0 and 3. And then maybe I can define what is the unit price if. What is the unit price if I want to almost even define it like the way it's defined. If X pencils cost Y euros. This is, I like how Hinoji, you mentioned like the number formatting business for currency, euros, and AI recommends it. Well, not today. Maybe in the future. Like I said, I'm happy to rethink language later. So if pencils cost Y, and what I'll do is I'll just say $ here, Y, and we'll keep this very, very basic. Why is it unhappy? Unexpected template spring, no curly. That's weird. So I have to specifically go like this. How do I tell it to ignore it? We'll just ignore it. Okay. Because it thinks I'm trying to be curly braces, but I'm not. So we have some representation of this. And now we need an answer. And I'm hoping that AI is smart enough to give me the answer. Here, and then here the answer should also be represented as a decimal. And I haven't really done anything because I need to generate those numbers. So let's leave this as is for now. And I can start by trying to generate my random number first. I can also try that emoji, which is, I guess I stopped at the first slash. No, it doesn't like it. It's just like, hey, I can try 3 slashes as well. No number of slashes is making TypeScript happy. Okay, so eventually, like if we want to get fancy, I'm pretty sure we could write our own like template string processing business eventually, and then just do whatever. Oh, you mean for Katex? Yeah. Yes. That might also present. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Okay, let's do that. My bad. I thought you meant TypeScript. That string.raw, is that provided by Katex, or is that just JavaScript? It's just JavaScript, but I mean, what is it doing? Isn't that just? Oh, I see. No, I don't see. No, I see. It's purely raw, like it's super raw, like what you give it. So I see. That's why. I apologize. I didn't get it, but I get it. So I think now maybe I won't do this just yet either. But I do want to take a look at, because I should only need 1 slash here. That's the thought. That's the whole purpose of this. But AI doesn't seem to want to, like, it's just trying to force it to. Okay, I'm happy to see what happens. I mean, even here, it's not really like, I think the intention is it doesn't need escapes, but my my editor seems to think it does. But this is fine. That's not the question. Come on, AI. What are you doing? What is the unit price if new line? And now new line is no longer. I think I messed that up. X, and then it still doesn't want to. It's still like it's really intent on round to 2 decimal places. That's not a big deal for our purposes. So we'll end it here. And okay. All right, where were we? Where were we before Hinoji distracted us yet once again? Decimal places. I want to modify my code here, because in this case, remember how I started putting those else ifs all the time? It means that when I come down here, nothing will be generated. So in the generation, I want to handle decimals. It knows, let me accept it and then read it. So we're getting variable dot value. So some random value floored plus variable dot min. But this does not look to me like a decimal value. And then we do to fixed, so we convert it to a string. And then we parse float, but won't this just generate, this will just generate an integer with 2 decimal places of zeros. Am I wrong? Number.parseFloat, variable value to fixed, variable.decimal places, fine, variable.value is over here. And this is exactly this line, which has been generating integers all along. Okay, so I feel like we could get away with this. So math.random, some random value plus the minimum should get us what we want. And we can we can see what we get. So now this will be just a whole mess of changes happening all at once. And this is kind of why I had set up some like testing thing the last time, but I don't know. I feel like because a lot of this is happening here, it's interesting enough. So this is a great bug. This is another else if bug. What is the unit price if 4 pencils cost? Okay. Now the whole thing is centered. Okay. Let's see. I need an else if here. Does it know? Yep. So I should be able to do this, but maybe. No, that's fine. This is good because it's math. We actually want this. We want this here, and maybe we want it here again. For me to do something like to fixed here as well. And now it's very precise. We might run into some errors here and there, but this is fine. Is this just a display issue? Can I refresh and make it work? I don't think so. I will need to regenerate. Hoo-wee, okay. We're still missing somewhere, right? Answer needs to be a template as well. And then answer needs to, okay, yeah, this is it. This is as far as I want to get. This is the next bug or issue that I had actually expected, which is we need to now format this accordingly. And I feel like we could just manage that here by saying I'll just accept it. And we'll see if it's good enough. And then if it doesn't work, I'll review it. So let's try it out. 2.73 divided by, what was that number? 5. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. And you know, if the student does come up with sort of a super precise thing here, then the teacher just has to decide, oh yeah, rounded, it's this. We could also put that as part of the question, but I think for now, I don't want to get too precise. This is good enough for me, and it should be good enough for you. So let's just, cool. See, this is what's making me happy. Now I have another type of question created. Really? Really? Approx? Oh, okay, okay. So we could be like, hey, like we could, I like that. I like it. Because this way we can indicate it up front. So approx can be part of oh no, I actually don't want it raw. I want it. That's fine. I can do that. And we can even do this business here. Given that we know that it's going to get regenerated. Cool. Look at that. And now I love that suggestion because the intention is very clear. Or it can be determined very quickly. And now there's no argument whether like if a student kind of just answers. I mean, if people want to argue, they can argue, but I do like it. It also shows off what we can accomplish via LaTeX in the answers and in the questions, which I like. So it's commit time, which means I can also get down here, uncomment this, make sure everything's still, there's no TypeScript issues. There are not. And say, just quickly take a look at the diff. Yeah, so essentially we're adding a decimal type, which allows us to generate a new type of question. Perfect. Okay, how am I doing for time? 1:38. I'm happy to stick around another 20 minutes or so. Let's see if we can't do this, lowest common multiple. Now, this presents a different challenge. I'm not sure I'm ready to take on this challenge just yet, which is we need to ensure that the number is a multiple of something. Should be fine. Should it be a big challenge? Okay, let's see. We have to ensure that the number is a multiple of something so that our question makes sense. Okay. I do need to quickly check my messages, if you will allow me. Seems legit, seems fine. Okay. All right, so I have copied this over. I also need to just change my, okay. So I've copied this over. Thanks for all your help, Hinoji. This was super productive. Unit price, LCM, lowest common multiple. And this is interesting because it seems like this is a case where one variable is dependent upon the other, because we could have like 2, 3, 4, because you don't want it to get too complex, maybe, right? You don't want to, and I don't want a fixed lowest common multiple either. So this might be a first situation where we generate an integer and that becomes, so we can So I'm going to say multiple, and let's say 1, 2. So not 1, right? So 2 to 10. No. 2 to 5. Let's keep it simple. And then I kind of want these to depend on the value of this, right? And I want 3 numbers here, and each one of them X, Y, and Z. And maybe I can so I just have, I'm working on just this one. I can also define the question, and hopefully over time this will help AI help me as well. Find the LCM of blah, blah, and blah. Okay, so just so we're helped here, let's okay. And then here we'll say find the LCM of no, bro, that's fine. Of I don't want to do a new line, so X, Y, and Z. And Z. I like how AI is like super struggling with this, because my intention as a developer is to use this variable in other variables, perhaps. And AI is struggling to see how it fits into the question, which kind of just makes this senseless. So I can't accept that. So this, and this, that looks good to me. And let's see if that's enough for it to understand. So X, so I guess the constraint here is I can answer this with code, or I can do that with data. And my instinct is to do it with code. Because it's going to be a random number. And I want this random number to be multiplied by this integer, right? So how do I represent that in the data, like in a data format? I don't know. I mean, I know, but the like all those options require me to write more code. All the options will require me to write more code. It's just I need to balance it in my head. So let's take a look here. Integer, and maybe this is the wrong way. No, it has to be a shared value across all these 3. Can I say, this is so bad. Can I say multiple of multiple? Interesting how TypeScript is not like, oh, maybe like I would have expected a TypeScript error to have popped up here. And just so I make sure, let me just restart, make sure everything is working. Yo, what happened there? My code just disappeared. I'm sorry, what? Because I just did I never committed. Or I did commit, adding, what just happened? I'm sorry, I'm just super confused right now. I'm trying to make sense of. So I did lowest common multiple, but I never committed that. I'm just doing lowest common multiple now. And then how did this happen? I think this is wrong. This is where I am. No, I just, yeah. Weird. So there is a ghost in the machine after all. Okay. Multiple of multiple. Yeah, why is this not complaining? I don't know. I would have expected this to come. Oh, because I do as here. But if I go to question type, variables is this, so I don't need to do as here. Which means now I get that error. Okay. I don't need to do that anywhere here. So let me just fix all of these instances as well, so that ongoing I get proper typing as we go. I still don't know why my code was mistreated, but okay. Can I do this? And because this value will be generated, this value should be available at the time this is being generated. I don't love it, but I'm going to proceed. And all this will do is generate, excuse me, it will generate a number between this and then multiply it by this in order to get it. So instead of multiple of, should it be multiply by? Which is literally what it's doing. Get this, multiply by. Let's support that in the integer thing. Just doing a type check. Okay. Multiply by. So generate integer and it'll multiply by the multiple variable in the variable set. And here I've done 3 and 5. It's fine. I could just do 2 to, so some number not itself to 10 even, sure. And later on, and again, considerations for, no repetitions and all of that is in my mind, but I still want to, for some reason, leave that to a bit later. Because it applies so broadly to everything, whereas this specifically applies to like this question and moving the functionality forward. So now in my integer generation code, I have to say, hey, if multiply by, then yeah, get the multiply by value and multiply by it, right? And yeah, now sort of this compacted repetition of code here and here, and then just, there's a stronger case for having this refactored. But I think what I'll do today is I'll get this question working. We'll wrap it up. And then maybe the next time I can focus on refactoring this in order to improve what the code is here. And I'm happy with that. That's like, because you could spend too much time trying to optimize early. Okay, so that repetition stuff is coming up here. So this is just 2, right? I never answered. All I did was I generated. So let's just see what other questions are looking like. That's also 2. That's 3. Yeah, I mean, the only reason these should be sorted, they could be sorted. Definitely the duplication stuff is very relevant in this question. So maybe worth taking a look at very soon. But still not just yet. So let me answer this. And in this case, the answer just turns out to be multiple. So the answer becomes super simple. I'll still do this stuff. And I don't know what this guy's doing here, but answer is vars dot multiple dot value and return answer to string. And let's go back here and three, 5, 3 again. Cool. 4 is 2, right? So there's no extra points for any any odd numbers. So we can actually just make this like up to 7. But hold on, if it just generate 4, then this doesn't work. So I guess it should be find LCM of 3 numbers. Let's see if it does it. What is this? What is this? What is get common denominator? What is this? It's like LCM of X and Y. Really? It just doesn't want to do this for me. So constant values is equal to vars dot x. Okay. I'll trust it. I'll trust that. We should never have to round. Let's see. Why not? You know, for funsies. That's vibe coding, my friends. 2. No comments. No comments will be on. This is what's supposed to replace developers. I mean, the developer who's using it is supposed to review it, but can you just imagine like a product manager coming in here and being like, I feel like for like a computer, like when you tell a computer that you want to find the lowest common multiple, that's a function a computer ought to be able to do. But obviously, like, this code probably doesn't make sense. And like, this is trying to find the lowest common multiple of these two numbers, except it has to do it of everyone. So it tries to, I mean, I feel like a computer should be able to solve this. But numbers from 2 to 7, it turns out, any even number is going to be 2. And then all the other numbers, 7, 5, 3, are going to be those numbers. So I could just simplify this to say if multiple is even, return 2, else return multiple. Why is it? Did I not leave clear instructions? No, bro. Just, I feel like I left clear instructions. Let answer is equal to multiple. If multiple, let's say var is multiple, right? So we don't need this. And we can say if answer is mod 2 is equal to 0, we will say answer is equal to 2. And then here we can just say return not all that. We can say return answer .toString. And honestly, this is the kind of stuff that I want AI to do. Then I don't have to do it. That's the whole point. Except you use it, and then you have to end up doing more work. What's the point of that? And the other point is, should 2 even be here? Because it makes all of this very boring. 3, 7, of course. Yeah, I mean, it's way more exciting this way. And here, you know, we should be able to say even numbers only, odd numbers only, that kind of stuff. But not right now. That's for later. For now, I feel like I'm done. What I wanted to accomplish today, which is fractions, for sure, was a major concern for me coming into today's session. Fractions are done. We're now generating decimal values with indication of how many decimal points we have in those values. We're generating multiples of numbers. This one should be easy to do. I'm trying to see. This is going to be interesting. Find the next number in the pattern. So we have to have some kind of pattern definition. Generator pattern, show you only certain numbers in a pattern. And then the answer is the next number in the pattern. I mean, that's just one way to do it, but I'm just saying. This all just seems like numbers that are fairly easy to understand and generate. Percentages, but I don't know how relevant that'll be. Okay, so I feel like just looking through very quickly, we've generated a series of abilities here. And I'm curious, as we go through, my intention is to have every single question, actual question, like I want to like each question I want, apart from the ones with the images, each question I want to be randomly generated in this math game. So I feel like then I can go back and say, hey, look, from this slide set, this entire slide set is in our game. And I think that would also make me feel good. And then I'm going to just go down one by one and create every single question. But for now, I can commit here. And essentially what we've done here is generated added ability to generate multiples in the integer in the integer category. Okay, So I'm happy with that. Thank you. Hinoji, you had to mic drop your way out of here, but thank you for your feedback in this session. And I will see you possibly tomorrow, keeping the streak going. But maybe not, but definitely at a random time, sometime in the future. Thank you for joining this session of Park Like It's Friday, even though it's Tuesday. Let's go home, everyone.